Hey guys, it's Evan here and welcome back to another video, and today I'm bringing you the third and final part of my homecoming series, a look at my full homecoming suit created by the RPC Studio. This is one of their paint suits. So let's go ahead and get on into this. And just like a lot of my other videos, I did buy this costume secondhand, same place I bought the face shell and lenses from, so I will not be speaking specifically about how long it takes from the ordering to actually having in hand with RPC. I'm not able to talk to that. However, this is just going to be simply a review of the quality of this costume. And one last other bit, unfortunately, you will not be seeing me in the full costume in this video. Due to a couple of complications, myself, I don't feel completely comfortable wearing it just due to how I am, my current body shape, and also, the costume's a bit hard to get into as is, which is something you should consider up front before buying this costume. But yeah, let's do it. Okay, so here we have it, the whole costume all laid out on my bed. You can kind of see how the whole thing looks. Now this costume, I have to say, is an absolute beauty of a costume. This entire thing, as you can see, is screen printed. The red has the screen printed texture, the blue has the screen printed texture, even the black straps are screen printed onto this costume, and you can even see the little bits of detailing in those as well. The mask here is an attached mask along with the sewn in eye holes that RPC does on all of their costumes. Now, if I were to have bought this myself, I most likely would have gone with a detached mask, but I did buy this secondhand. So secondhand, it came with the attached mask. It also has these sewn in web cartridges, which are an option you can pick when you buy this suit from the RPC Studio. These, I would actually say, are a really good addition because they do match the suit. I know there are some web cartridges you don't want to run the risk of them being too long or too small. These ones fit absolutely perfectly, and they are quite a beauty being on this suit. Now the front spider is a bit different. The actual front spider that RPC does with this suit is screen printed on. However, the person I originally bought this from, they decided to add a different front spider. I'm not exactly sure who made this front spider, but yeah, it was added on to give it a little more of a pop, just like the movie suit has. And of course, just like all of RPC's costumes, this has these soles sewn or rather glued in. They did a really good job on these. You can see the screen printed texture still holds up. These shoes are a bit hard to get into. I think they're about a size smaller than what I usually wear. But yeah, these shoes are awesome, and you know, doesn't have the accurate sole, but you know, it still looks fantastic. And now taking a look at the back of the costume, as you can see, the zipper that goes down the attached mask. You can get a look once again at how the screen printing of the black bands look. We got the back spider here, which is actually screen printed on. You can see it, they did go ahead and do that screen printed texture there. Back of the belt right there. Going down the blue of the legs, they have, like, you know, the blue detailing in here. One thing that did actually happen with the original owner, there was a bit of damage done to the screen printing. I think this happened by sitting on a leather car seat that had heated up. He did do some fixing here with like puff paint, but that is something you kind of want to be careful of with these screen printed suits. That the texture, it holds up, but you just have to be careful with what you do with this suit. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a couple of other things. Now, even though I am not going to be putting this costume on in this video, I am still going to show you guys how the hands look with the web shooters on them, and then how the mask looks on this costume. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so here we go. Here we got a really good look at how the arm looks with my John Donaldson web shooter. It looks fantastic, honestly. You know, this lines up pretty well. It does move around, and you know what, it doesn't really interfere with the black band too much. One of the downsides is, if you would remember my video how I said this bit was a bit small, here's a good example of that, how you can see that it doesn't completely cover up this band here. You know, I think with some of the other versions of this costume by RPC, this band doesn't exist, so you don't have to worry about that with your web shooters. Here's a good example of how the magnet works. So, see the magnet there, there's a magnet under there, and then that just goes on and that moves around with your hand. You don't have to worry about anything. And of course, I can still take this out, pop that back in, and it's awesome. And, you know, There you go, that's how the hands look. One little thing you will notice about the hands, let's see if we can get it, the screen printed texture does rub off. This will happen in a lot of places around the suit. Mostly it does happen on the hands. You just have to be careful. This is something that will happen regardless. In fact, funny fact is, this actually happened on the movie costume. Okay, and then here's a really quick look at how the mask looks. My apologies if not everything is lined up perfect. It's a bit hard to get on, just with the way the eye holes are cut and the way that the screen printing works. It's a bit hard to get lined up with lenses sometimes. But yeah, you can get a good look at how just that whole thing looks. I hope this looks good on camera. Like I've said before, I'm not wearing my glasses, and these lenses are a bit hard to see out of, but it does give you an overall idea of how this costume looks with the mask. And now you can actually see something if you watch my previous video, or the review on this lens set. You can see how my mouth actually goes below the actual facial jawline and just make things look a little bit weird. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and take off this mask now, and then I'm gonna give you guys a good final thoughts on what I think of this whole costume. Okay, so my final thoughts on this costume. Really, I think that RPC did a stellar, just incredible job recreating this costume. Although it is not, 100% screen accurate, the seam lines are that of the basic Raimi pattern. The screen printing isn't exact to the movie. The black bands are screen printed on rather than being separate pieces attached. Same thing with the front spider and the back spider. Really, end of the day, the fact that you can own a fully screen printed Spider-Man costume for roughly around $600 to $700 these days, that's incredible. A couple years ago, that wouldn't have even been, you couldn't even imagine owning something like this. Now, what would be my only downsides to this? One of the downsides is the fact that it is the Raimi-based pattern. It causes this little chest bump thing to happen, and just the fact that the seam lines aren't 100% exact, some of the proportions of the costume not exact. I really do wish that RPC would start making their movie accurate, or kind of accurate costumes with patterns that are more inspired by the actual movies they've come from. The other thing is, which has actually been a big point of people kind of complaining about RPC's work, is the screen printing itself. Just the nature of this style of screen printing with, like the tiny dot texture, is the fact that, the whole thing is essentially painted. You have to be very careful with what you do with this costume. You can't do a large amount of stunts, you can't do anything crazy, so if you're looking to do something crazy, get a standard dye sub. But this is just kind of a walk around, wear it for like maybe an hour or two, then change out of it. You want to be very careful in terms of friction. I've heard of people who have worn backpacks and like the friction has caused the screen printing to rub off near the shoulders. End of the day, because this thing is screen printed, you just want to be very, very careful when you wear that. So if you are planning to buy one of these, please take that into consideration when, before you do purchase it. Anyways, guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I am so glad that I had a chance to actually review this, to have one of these in my hands. Although it doesn't completely fit me, and I am planning to sell this off in the near future, just the fact that I did get to own it for a little while, appreciate its beauty, is just, that is enough for me. If you are interested in buying one of these, I am throwing the link to these down in the description below. They sell 2 versions of this pattern. This one that I just reviewed is the Gunhead design version. They also sell an Arachnid Studios design. In my personal opinion, I think the Arachnid Studio one is a little bit more screen accurate. There's a few slight differences here and there, but me personally, I would like to, if I ever did own another one of these, I would probably get the Arachnid Studio ones so it could be more accurate to my measurements and all that fun stuff. But yeah, link to RPC's, 2 links for these down in the description below. And as always, if you liked what you see here, remember to comment, thumbs up this video, and subscribe if you have not already. Bringing out new videos every single week. Not quite sure what next week's video will be, but there will be a video. I promise you all that. Anyways, remember to stay frosty, you guys, and I will see you all in the next video.